What's up, everyone? Coach Tony here. In this training, we're going to talk about the exact classes your child should be taking this summer when it comes to dual enrollment. If it's the very first time meeting, my name is Coach Tony. I'm actually a former UC Berkeley admissions reader. I was a former UCLA outreach director. I founded my own high school, and I've been helping families with the college admissions process along our team for the last 16 years. So here our goal is to teach you exactly what we teach our coaching students, so you guys can navigate the college admissions journey. What we do a little differently is we approach it from a different point of view. A lot of families want to, how do I help my child stand out in the admissions process? And realistically, in today's world, it's really, really hard to stand out in today's world. So instead, why our students have been so successful in this process is we don't just help our students stand out in missions, we help them give the readers what they're looking for. When I was a reader at Berkeley, I read over 20,000 applications. You start to see trends, right? Why yes kids get yeses, why no kids get nos, and you start to understand what the yes kids have in common, what the no kids have in common. So the strategy is give the readers what they're looking for, and that helps ensure your chances a lot higher. So in today's session, that's what we're going to be focusing on and talking about, is specifically what things does matter in the admissions process. Let me go ahead and share my screen really quick. I am going live on Zoom. If you're live, if you guys can see me, hear me in Zoom, and make sure my screen is recorded correctly, can you go ahead and drop a yes in the chat if you guys can see and hear me. I'm on a different setup today, so I don't have my multiple monitors. I can't see it there, but people can see the screen. Looks like the answer is yes. Fantastic, fantastic, awesome, cool. So I'm gonna go through this little training, teach you guys about this. And if you have questions, feel free to drop it in the Q&A box. I'll make some time for Q&A at the very end as well too. Okay, so let's go diving straight in. So first off, the question is, what dual enrollment classes should we be taking this upcoming summer? And the first off, let's talk about first off, what is dual enrollment, right? What is dual enrollment? Some people are like, hey, what's that? Dual enrollment courses is taking college level courses as a high school student, right? So that's the basic definition of dual enrollment. Could you can take a community college level course. Technically, you take the 4-year college course as well too. They're all the same, and you take them. Or not the same, but you could take both of them. They're all called dual enrollment. For the purpose of today's session, we're going to focus on the community college. The reason why is that either one you do, 4-year community college, they do the same effect for a high school student. So community college is way cheaper than the 4-year option if you're considering that option over there. Okay, so let's talk about dual enrollment first. So this kind of falls. The first up is let's do why, right? Why dual enrollment in the first place, right? So when it comes to dual enrollment level courses, when colleges are looking at a student's academics, right? Academics, let's do a quick little interactive since we have some folks here as well too. In the chat, let me know, what are colleges looking for when it comes to your academics. Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Okay, quick little water break. But those who are here live with me, go ahead in the chat. What are admissions looking for when it comes to a student's academics? Here. You have a lot of coaching students here. They already know the answer. They already know the answer as well too. There you go. So someone mentioned GPA, right? Someone mentioned GPA as well too, right? Our coaching students know, they know the real answer as well. They know that it's not GPA. So let me go ahead and disprove that really quick for you. For those who did, the two friends that wrote GPA in the chat, right? So when it comes to the GPA itself, GPA is not that important to look at, right? The reason why is how many students with a 4.8 do you see who still get rejected? So many, right? So if GPA was the answer, then your goal is to maximize for GPA. But I'm sure you guys have heard stories, know people who have done this and still, right, not get into their top choice colleges either. So it's probably not about GPA. It can help you kind of determine, but not tell you itself. So instead, what we look at, we look at two things, right? We look at two things. We look at, one is grade trends, is number two is academic rigor. Our coaching students, shout out to you guys for getting that in the chat as well too, right? So grade trends is academic rigor. So when it comes to grade trends, I want to see strong grades, right? I mean, as many A's you can. If you end up getting one or two B's, I'm not gonna freak out. Mom will freak out. Dad will freak out. I'm fine. I'm chilling, right? So that's that. But the other piece, the most important thing is the rigor of your. This is the most important part. The reason why that's most important, colleges want to know, right? Colleges want to know that once you get there, you'll be fine, right? You'll be fine. Not every student is gonna graduate in 4 years. Some students get kicked out, some students get dropped out. So if I say yes to you, I definitely want you to graduate, right? Because again, if you get kicked out, right, you'll be sad. Parents will be sad. College will be sad too. You're not paying tuition money, right? So it's a lose-lose for that situation there. They want to know, are you going to be okay? So the big thing, a lot of people like are aiming for all these top schools, Stanford, USC, UCLA, UC Berkeley, but they don't really realize how hard it is to get in. And once you're in, how hard it is to stay in and graduate as well, too. So from a reader's point of view, I'm basically trained to look for, is this student going to be okay if they get to our school? So I look at the rigor because again, um, to see where someone will go, right? See where they've been, right? It's probably a quote somewhere as well too. Because again, it's not accidental, right? You don't just like, oh, I'm a C student, I'm gonna magically become a straight A student, or a straight A student magically become a C student. No, you're pretty much the same person you are throughout your entire life. So going back to here, right? If I look at how you were in high school, I have a good indicator of how you are in college. I mean, of course, we're human, we can change, we can evolve, but for the most part, you're pretty much very similar to who you are. So going back here, I want to look at your high school rigor and see what did you maximize it in. Because if you did, that's awesome, right? Then I know you'll be fine. So the most common way to do this is going to be AP level courses and IB level courses, right? Because AP and IB, Advanced Placement International Baccalaureate programs, these are the rigorous courses. These are big because they're standardized across a bunch of states, a lot of schools, a lot of countries, that these are rigorous level courses. However, what's the issue, right? What's the issue of like AP level courses as well too? Number one, they're hard, right? It's super hard classes that the students probably spend a lot of time. It's time consuming. Takes a bunch of different time from the student here as well. You need to take a test, need to pass a test to get college credit, right? And again, keep in mind, you have to get certain a score also. A lot of our students, if you're watching this live, we just finished up AP exam season, all right? So our students who took the AP exams, you needed maybe three as passing, but sometimes you need a four or a five to actually get college credit for the class as well too. That's kind of why we're doing the APs also, is to get college credit once you guys get to the 4 year schools. So that's one option, right? But let me kind of argue the other option. So, what about dual enrollment? So, with dual enrollment courses, these are college level courses. Again, you can take them at the local community college as well too. First benefit, these are 1 semester long. 1 semester is half a year. So these are half a year long courses, but would you do the conversion rate, right? One college unit is approximately 3.3 high school credits. The average college course is 3 units. When you multiply it out, 3.3 times 3 is 9.9, roughly 10 high school credits, which is equal to 1 year. So you take a class for 1 semester, but it'll count as a full year long course for you, right? That's perk number one. Perk number two, this is a college class, right? Which means as long as you take a transferable course, right, it will transfer to the 4 year schools that you're doing. The reason why is that when you go to the 4 year school, you're taking like in 4 years worth of college classes. That's what you're doing here. You're getting a college credit, you're transferring it over as well without taking a test, right? So for those of you who hate tests, right, test anxiety, Another awesome reason as well too. Another big thing why dual enrollment is really awesome is a lot of classes are also online and asynchronous. What that means is that you can take a lot of these classes online and it's self-paced, right? Self-paced. So it's at your own speed as well too. Let's say you know you're going on vacation the last week of school. So let's speed up the work so you can finish everything before your family goes off on that trip, or your family trip is right in the middle. You can go and speed up your work and catch up once you get back as well too. Either way, right? You're able to do that. Or when you go to a different country, a different area, you can still take the class online because it's online. And pretty much everywhere now has a lot of Wi-Fi, right? Unless you go to the woods or something, maybe not. But if you go to a different area, there's probably Wi-Fi somewhere that you can do your class as well too. That's another perk there. And probably the best perk of all, you get to pick your teachers, right? So a lot of classes I always ask like, hey, what's your hardest class? It's always like an AP class, right? It's a hard class or an IB level course. And I'm like, okay, is it hard because the class is hard, or is it hard because the teacher is hard? I think everyone will agree. Like, it's probably hard because the teacher is hard. The class is okay, but it's the teacher that makes it really tough. So that's the same thing, by the way, throughout the rest of your life, right? Depending on your professor, your boss, your manager in the future, they dictate kind of the structure that you will kind of grow here. So when it comes to this part right here, right? In high school, you don't have a choice. If you're taking AP US history, there's usually one AP US history teacher. You're taking Calc 2, Calc AB, Calc BC. There's only one teacher, one or two teachers who teach that class only, and that you kind of stuck with them. But in college, you get to pick yeah, perfect. There's one class has like around 3 to 5 teach professors to choose from, right? So you have to pick and choose who you get to take it with. And spoilers, right? Spoilers, right? You want to find the easiest professor, right? So why do you want to do it? To quick little macro strategy, really quick, right? Is that when it comes to the whole process, the academics, the activities, and the application itself, I would argue that the academics is the least important factor of the three areas. So when students, it might be you, are spending so much time on school. I come home, I'm up to 2 in the morning doing homework. By the way, if you are doing that, I bet you are not doing homework. I bet you are watching YouTube, Netflix, and all that stuff too. But right, the academics should be the least important factor because the other two areas, the activities and the applications, are more weighted to your profile itself there. So again, for me, I always think, how do I increase my academics while reducing the time? That's gonna be the key for us over here. Okay, so that's the big one. First step over here. Now, that being said, let's go to the actual thing. Now that we understand why we want what is dual enrollment, why do you want to do dual enrollment? Let's talk about how, right? How dual enrollment this summer, right? So really quick in the chat, can David drop what state you're in? Because this does change a little bit as well too. What state are you guys located in? All right. Got a mix of a few. Got a mix of a few, but overwhelming California. Overwhelming California. So keep in mind, for all the other states, you guys can do exactly everything. I'm gonna tell you, just Google the word your state and what I'm gonna tell you, and you can find the same thing. If you have trouble, reach out to our team. Our team can help you with that as well too. But for this example, I'm gonna pick example. We're from California. And then another example, can someone name me, if you're in California, a community college next to you guys? We'll give you guys step by step what to do and what to look at as well. And as you guys are doing that, I'm gonna give you guys the answer first. Okay. So when it comes to so the college TBA, right? But so what's the answer? Which dual enrollment classes do we take? So for me, dual enrollment has two purposes, right? Dual enrollment has two purposes. One is to increase rigor, right? Going back to what we're looking for, that's one of the big thing we want to do. We want to increase number rigor. Number two, right, is the major overlay for the classes, meaning what major are you guys thinking about going into? You want to make sure you have that overlays or things that a reader is trained to look for based on your major itself. So things you want to consider as well too. So let's talk about major overlays really quick, and we'll go back to increasing rigor. Okay. So when it comes to major overlays, I would argue there's also three big pathways out there I use the word pathways because, again, you say you're this major. Who knows what major you're gonna be? You might switch it up over the next few years anyway. So, what pathways are you going down? Because you're probably gonna stay within your pathway. The first pathway I always call pathway number one is our engineering and computer science students. So if you're here live and you are pathway number one, drop a number one in the chat for me, guys. Drop a number one if your child's considering any of the fields of engineering, any of the fields of computer science, data science, all that stuff. Drop a number one in the chat if that sounds like your child, right? Pathway number two is if you are considering STEM, or it's called sciences. STEM will come to number one. Sciences, biology, chemistry, physics, anatomy, pre-med, or business, right? They are different disciplines, but in terms of prepping for them, they're the same, right? In terms of prepping academically, they're the same. So if your child is a sciences or a business, drop number two in the chat there. And number three, pathway number three is the humanities and everything else, right? So if you're interested in history, poli-sci, sociology, all these different fields, you are a number three. We have a nice little mix of everyone here today. Fantastic, fantastic. Okay, so each of these, there will be certain things that you can do to help showcase this in your application itself, right? Specifically, mainly for number one, right? So one and two is the big ones, right? So the big thing, oops, the big thing you can use for the major overlay when it comes to community college is going to be your math. That's gonna be the biggest thing you can do to help increase it. Because again, if you think about high school, right? High school math typically goes, right? Algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, trigonometry, pre-calculus, or some people put these together, right? Trig, pre-calc, or algebra 2, whatever these combinations. Then you take AP Calc AB, AP Calc BC, and some people take stats. Calc BC and AP stats, right? That's typical. If your school is a little special, or not special, but they did that. They also call like integrated math one. Oops, integrated math. Um, integrated math one, integrated math two, integrated math three. It's just similar. Okay, basically integrates just those all three at once and then merges it as well too, right? You go to pre-calc. So this is pretty much the typical high school math as well too. However, when you're interested in pathway number one, right, we tell our students to go as far as you can in math, meaning Calc BC is not the end. Calc C is like the beginning for you, right? You want to go even further. So if you're interested in engineering, right, computer science, we have our students finish BC and continue to calculus 3, or they call it multivariable calculus, right? Then you want to go ahead and go to linear algebra. Then you want to go to differential equations. Then you want to go to discrete math. And whatever else, that's usually the max for most schools, but that's kind of the level you want to do after BC as well, too. If you notice, most schools don't offer, some schools do. Some of them are very, very competitive schools starting to offer this now, but most schools don't have this at the high school. So if they don't have the high school, where do you take them? You go to the college. You take to do this at the dual enrollment community college level is kind of the big thing here, right? And if you're doing sciences or business, right? Calc 2, BC is good. But again, the other logic why you want to go community college also is the other math, right? So instead of like sciences and business, right? Instead of doing a year, because this is 1 year, right? This is 1 year. Instead of doing 1 year, you can take Calc 1, 1 semester, Calc 2, 1 semester. So in 1 year at the college, you can do the same thing as 2 years at the high school. You guys see that? That's the trick you can leverage with dual enrollment here. With the majors, you can do more things done before. So that's why we always tell students use it as a way to kind of accelerate your math as well too. That's probably the big one to keep in mind, right? Going back for rigor now. So when it comes to rigor, right? When it comes to rigor, what we want to do is take class. Our strategy is take classes, take college level courses because college level courses are rigorous. right, are rigorous as well too. I'm taking a little note real fast. So I think someone made a comment in the chat. I saw like, what about honors classes as well too? Let's talk about that real fast, right? So when it comes to honors, example number two, honors, right? The reason why I don't bring up honors is that when you look it up, right? When you look up honors courses, some schools recognize honors, some schools don't. And some at your school, some classes might be recognized, some are not. So for me, and if you don't believe me, check it out. There's a website called, especially in the UCs, UCOP Articulation. Type in your high school, type in the college, you'll see there's like half of your honor classes, your school doesn't count for anything. Doesn't count as honors, right? Count for your high school. Your high school will count it for their GPA, but the universities will not count it as honors courses. If you guys are applying out of state, if you're in California, apply New York. If you're in New York, try to apply for California, honors doesn't transfer, right? Only AP and IB in college level courses. So for me, I like to play it safe. I only consider things that I know will transfer. And for the ones that do transfer, you're setting the bar like low, high. You're setting the bar there that you're always gonna beat it, if that makes sense, right? So that's kind of why I don't think about honors, even though it does count. Don't say it doesn't count. It counts, but not everyone does count. And are you gonna go through the headache of going through each school, each class to make sure it counts or not? No. Just focus on AP, IB, and college level courses. And once you hit the strategy there, you're good. And any extra honors, it's just bonus points, brownie points for you there. Okay. So now going back, right? So rigor, I don't think because any college level course is rigorous. I don't need to do anything else. Any college is rigorous. So what I want to do, I want to work smart with my classes, right? So let's say going back here, right? Let's say I was a business major, right? Would I take a business class right away? Probably not, right? And you're like, wait, why? I'm interested in business. I'm like, cool. How long have you had this interest in business? Because you probably, I bet you probably whatever major your child's thinking of, they probably just thought of it like last 1, 2, 3 years as well too. You're in a career for like 40 years, right? So are you committed that that's what you want to do? And realistically, no. Realistically, major is a concept you learn at the college, not the high school. Your high school doesn't expose you enough to like make a yes, I'm gonna go and do this option as well. So how we are able to navigate this is I tell students, cool, take classes, right, that are for sure transferable, right? Because then let's say I'm a business major and I don't think I take the transferable courses, but I switch to sciences, I'm good. But what if I take business classes and I switch and all my classes are useless now because it doesn't count anywhere? So for me, I tell students you want to take classes that are transfer for sure transferable. What classes are, right? So let's look at college, right? Is 4 year, year one, year two, year three, year four, right? What happens in the chat? What happens year one? Does anyone know what happens year one of college? What classes are you taking, no matter where you go, right? UC school, private school, Ivy school. What do you do? You're taking general education. What about year two? What are we doing year two, everyone? Year two, we are doing general education. What are we doing year three, everyone? That's right, majors. And number three, majors. You also do prereqs here too, by the way. So to be super clear, plus requisites, or like your pre-major classes is what the prerequisites are, right? But you're doing general education. That means when you're a first or second year, you're gonna take your math again, your English again, your history again, your science again. You're doing all the classes you took in high school again. That's kind of what AP exams are. IB exams are, is that it tests you out of these classes. But if you don't pass them or you didn't take them, you have to redo these your first 2 years. So for me to play it very safe, what if I only focus on these classes? Right? If I only focus on these classes, no matter what school, what major I end up doing, I'm gonna be fine. Again, I'm already gonna show my overlay for the major classes, right? But that's it. For me, if I want to be play it smart, and that's kind of our strategy, we like to work smart. Don't do anything that doesn't serve you or doesn't help you, right? Focus on the things. So general education courses here. So now that that's said, let's go ahead and talk about how to, right? How to, right? Going back, right? You guys give me a list of law schools. Let me pick a random one out of here. De Anza. I saw De Anza. De Anza, right? So De again, you can follow along, you can do your own school as well too. But the example The example we're going to play with today is De Anza Community College. That's I believe San Jose area, as well too. And so what you guys want to do, by the way, if you guys are not in California, what you want to look up, not in California, you want to look up the transfer articulation requirements, right? Requirements at your state. So type in state. So states, boom, and you'll find it, right? But for California families, your articulation is called IGETC. IGETC is the intersegmental general education transfer curriculum. Just a heads up as well too, FYI, they're changing this to CalGETC in the fall, right? So if you see different names, same logic, just different names. CalGETC is merging all the schools together in one big list because there's a IGETC level 1, IGETC level B, IGETC A, B, and C for different types of schools as well. But CalGETC is a universal one for all schools is the thing there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look this up. So I'll do it live together with you guys, right? So I'm gonna Google up De Anza IGETC. So De Anza IGETC, right? So once you search it up, I'm on a different screen. Can you guys still see the screen? Drop a quick yes in the chat if we can see the new screen that I'm on. Yes, awesome, fantastic. Okay, so you got IGETC, right? So let's use the first, second one. So I'm gonna try the first one out. Looks good to me, right? This is like the older year. You can probably find a newer year, but it doesn't change too often, so don't worry too much about that, right? So once you look up the IGETC, right? So college, IGETC. Then there's going to be 6 to 7 areas. There'll be a PDF or a web page with 6 to 7 areas on it. Again, if you're from different states, they don't have 6 or 7. Some, like we have a student from Illinois, they call the IAS for their school. I think there's like 4 or 5 for their school. Every school has something. The Massachusetts is called mass transfer. They have a few. So every state has a little different on this. But if you're in California though, there's 6, 7 areas, right? So what you want to do is what I recommend is regardless of your major, right? Start do enrollment in areas 3 or 4 and/or 4, right? So area 3 is going to be your arts and humanities. Your area 4 is going to be your social behavioral sciences, behavioral sciences, right? Can't spell, right? Behavioral sciences. So what we're going to do here is if I look down, I see area 1, area 2, area 3, bunch of courses right here, bunch of courses here, and include on area 4, bunch of courses as well too here as well, right? By the way, you see here it says quarter unit. So the end's a little special. They don't follow the semester system. They follow the quarter system. So quarter system is only 10 weeks per class. Semester is 16 weeks. So it's fast. You just 3 quarters. It's weird. It's 3 quarters in a school year is the thing because that's like summer is number 4. That's why, right? So that's the piece here. So starting with area 3, area 4. The reason why these are easier, right? 3 and 4 are easier than the other areas. Again, I like to work smart. I want to make sure our students do well. I don't want our students to stress out. Maybe you want your child to stress out. Not me. I don't want the students to stress out. I want them to have an easy time because again, there's other areas, spoilers, the activities, spoilers, the applications that are way more important to spend their energy on. This you just want to get out of the way is the key. Okay. So is that really quick in the chat. Let's do some live interaction. Area 3, area 4. You guys want to do example 3 or 4? Drop a 3 or a 4 in the chat. 3 or 4 in the chat. Oh, it's tied. It's tied. Who's the tiebreaker? Tiebreaker. Oh no, it's tied again. It's tied again. Let's go. Let's go. I did 4 wins. 4 wins. All right. So in area 4, let's do a live example as well too. You can see there's a bunch of different classes, right? So each of these are classes. I'm not sure what these are. This is administrative justice, maybe. I don't know. And this is anthropology. This is arts, Asian American studies. Don't know. This is Chicano studies, communications, econ, geography, history, kinesiology, journalism, poli-sci, sociology. Is there a class that you guys want to explore together real fast, right? So we're pretending we are the student right now. We are pretending to go through this exercise. Is there a subject that you guys want to like, oh, I would like this. This will be fun for me. Keep in mind, biological is down here. Biological is down here. That's area 5. I did not say area 5, right? I said area 3 or 4. Right? I got a few psychologists that wins, right? So psychology, you see at these numbers, here's a bunch of numbers. These are all classes that you can take, right? So psychology 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a lot of numbers. For the purpose of this exercise and this stuff, start easy. There's no need to stretch yourself out. Let's look at psychology 1. Right, so I'm looking for psychology 1 classes. Next thing I'm gonna do, right? Once I'm gonna find it, then I'm gonna look up the class schedule for this as well too. So it's literally I'm gonna look up the ENSA summer class schedule. The reason why I'm doing this training now is you guys can sign up for summer classes, by the way. Spoilers, right? So then now I look at here and I'm gonna look for psychology, right? Every says a little different, so don't copy it exactly, but psychology, right? And then you'll see here to make it a little bigger so you guys can see what I see, right? You see that these are psych ones, right? So again, psych 1 is on this list. I'm awesome. So you see there's a lot of them. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. There's 11 psychology 1 classes, right? In this stuff. Then I tell students look for online courses, right? And you can see here that this class is in person, right? There's a room number to it. So probably not that one. This one's an online that shows up at a certain time, right? Unless you are for sure free at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 to 11, probably don't take that one either. So if I take those two out, I'm left with these 9 classes. Man, 9 classes to pick from, right? So that's that. And they're all online. They're all online courses. They're all psychology 1. Now, next piece of this is let's look up the professors, because once we find this, we look up the professors, right? For the classes, right? There's a website I use called ratemyprofessors.com, right? And you want to enter your school's name. Our school is Dienza, right? The Enza College. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look up the teachers, right? So here's how I do it. I go to the first teacher here, Mark Healy, right? Mark Healy. Look up Mark Healy right here. Oh, Mark Healy shows up. Look up Mark Healy. Wow. Holy moly. 217 5-star. It's like Yelp, by the way. 217 5-star review. Difficulty 1.8. One is easiest, right? 96 taken 4.8 so far. This is really, really good, right? Reading the reviews are fast. Take them, great teacher. Class is very manageable. Easy getting a grade. Great lecturer. Amazing. Take them. Very easy. I got an A plus, got an A. Holy moly. So far, by the way, if anyone here is going to Dianza, I would recommend so far this class so far, right? Boom. So far, I was like, maybe I take this class. Next one, Robin. Robin Schultz, right? Look at teacher's name. Teacher right here. Ooh, this one is right? Like difficult, a little harder. Nah, you read the reviews like easy class, enjoyed it. You get it on, you don't get a teacher support, no communication, didn't learn much. Again, so you read the reviews, you see it. And I'm do one more example. Let's do Sandra Trafias. This one, oh, not bad either, right? So a lot of 5-star reviews, 1.798 stars. So this one's good, but the first teacher had a lot of 5 stars, a lot of reviews, right? So again, keep in mind, not everyone leaves a review. So if they're leaving a review, they must really, really like the class. So again, so cool taking online classes, willing to help, a lot of quizzes, exam and study, async class, she's the best, 1 quiz a week, find the answers, easy A, enjoy the class, blah, blah. So you can kind of see what the thing is as well, right? Is the thing here. So let's say, for example, I want to take Mark, again, do it with everyone, don't just skip as me. Do it everyone. Let's say Mark Healy is my teacher that I want to take with. What you want to look at is the CRN. The CRN is the class code as well too. So this is what you give to your counselor to sign up. Because again, by the way, if you haven't hit summer yet, hopefully not, this is what you need to talk to your counselor to get permission to sign up for this class as well too. So this is the class code. For example for me is psychology number 1 at Pienza. The class code is that I give to my counselor. They write in, they sign off on me. Your counselor or principal can sign off for you. And then once you do it, you're in the class officially. You take the class. Again, the idea was we're going to try to get an easy A. Try to get an easy A in the class. It hits the rigor, right? You're hitting your gen ed. This is going to count for your gen ed requirements as well too. And you are good to go here. Okay. That is exactly literally step by step how to do this. I will go through, you go to the whole thing, search over the class. I'll say there's no good ones. Let's go next number, next number. What other class? Maybe not. Maybe look at sociology, look at sociology, search, look at the number, right? Sociology has one is there. So look at number one. There's a few teachers. And so you look at that's all I do. Just look, and you'll find the teachers that are the best to take for here. Okay. Awesome, fantastic. Let me see if they have any questions in the chat as well too. Question here: does it count to take college courses before fresh? How does it count to take college classes before freshman year? You can definitely do that. I would recommend it, by the way, if you can do that. You start early enough, you can do that. But keep in mind, you do need your counselor's signature on it, so you need your counselors to put trust and faith in you that you'll be fine. Is the thing as well too. Okay. How would you recommend picking a community college online? Is there a reason to register for the closest one? If it's online, this is the beauty. Some of our coaching families, they took classes from like an hour away, 3, 4 hours away, because you're never going to go there. Because you're never going to go there, you can technically go anywhere you wanted to, right? Is it again? Of course, if there's any issues, you might need to come to the school to do some paperwork and stuff. So sooner, the closer, the better, of course. But you don't even need to go far, right? The only reason you might need to go a little farther away, I would say, is for some of the more advanced math courses, right? Some teachers are a little tough. Is the biggest thing. So you may want to go a little farther away for that if the teacher is a little easier farther away as well too. Okay. I'm seeing a lot of questions in the chat. You guys can drop it in the Q&A, please. I can answer it once because we're just chatting back and forth with some folks as well. I have a ninth grade going 10th grade. She ready for dual enrollment, get started summer. We have students starting, like I mentioned, the family earlier, going into ninth grade. So we have students definitely doing it early. A little pro tip, by the way, for parents. If you're a parent right now, you're listening in. If you start early enough, here's a little hack, by the way. Here's a little hack for you guys. If you start early enough, right, and you take like one class per semester, then your child can easily finish with 30 units by the time they finish in high school. 30 units is 1 year of college. So when they apply, they're not a transfer student. They're still a first year student. They're applying as a first year student. You apply. Once they get into that school, their units will kick in automatically. They jump up to sophomore year standing. The higher standing you are, the earlier they'll get classes. So your child can kind of sign up for classes earlier. This is you hear stories of classes getting full and they can't sign up. That's why ranking matters. The further up you are, the more earlier your date to sign up for classes are, and you can do that, right? But from a parent point of view, you could save a bunch of money because your child's starting in sophomore standing, they could graduate in 3 years. And if you graduate in 3 years, you're paying for only 3 years of tuition instead of four. I just saved you guys $30,000, $40,000. You're welcome, friends. And those of you who are gonna be a little more aggressive with it, you could finish 60 units by the time you guys finish, which means that's 2 years. You still apply as a first year. When you get into the school, your units kick in automatically, and then you can finish in 2 years, you're done. So those of you guys who are thinking about like, oh my, I want my child to do a BSMD program, save the years there. In theory, you can do the same thing with dual enrollment. Do the same thing without the stress of the BSMD concept itself there. Okay. Do dual enrollment in the fall count towards GPA if you're graduating in 2026? Okay, going back, I'm gonna share some notes. It sounds like some of our friends joined late today, right? All right, go back to my notes. What I say about GPA, friends? GPA, ignore. That's one of the most falsest metrics you'll hear. So when any parent tells you about, oh, my child's GPA is this, oh, I'm worried about GPA, I'm like, you're stressing about the wrong thing. You definitely don't need to stress out about GPA. I stress out about the other things, right? The grade trends and the rigor. So when it comes to like, you should not, by the way, do anything to change your GPA. If you're trying to do something to increase it, that's the wrong approach. You're answering the wrong. It's like when parents tell me, Coach Tony, my child's very busy. I can't do anything right now. I'm like, are they busy doing the right thing or busy doing the wrong thing? Because I always follow up with these families and they're like, my child didn't get it. I don't know why. They did all the things. I'm like, you're doing all the wrong things. That's all. You do the wrong things, you still won't get in. So keep in mind, do the right things. You're asking the wrong question. Does it count towards GPA? It shouldn't matter. But to answer your question, though, depends on what GPA you're talking about. Most schools will end the summer after 11th only. 12th grade grades don't usually get counted for anything, is the thing. That's why, again, this training is time sensitive. If you want to sign up for something, I would recommend this summer is like kind of a last call for anything as well, too. Okay. Is AP Psych equal to Psych 1? That's a high school question, right? I'm not sure what you're trying to say or trying to get at that. It depends on your high school, if your high school can count it or not count it. I don't think about that. You could, right? Some schools allow it as the same credit, some schools don't. So it depends on what you're asking the question for. But for me, I'm doing it again, I'm doing it from the perspective of I want to get us to college credits and units. That's the key why I'm doing this here. Okay. Is it easier to take computer college psych over AP Psych in high school? I am a big fan of dual enrollment, right? You get it done in half the time, and you don't have to pass the AP exam. If you take the AP Psych class, it's a full year, and you have to pass the AP exam. Up to you, whatever you want. And dual enrollment is usually free. So, and then AP exam, you probably have to pay for the class too, the exam, right? So that's it. That's kind of my 2 cents there. Does the name of the community college matter in terms of how rigorous the class is, whether credits be counted or not? No, as long as the classes is transferable. California, IGETC, the other states, you have your own name for your program. As long as on that list, you're fine. Don't do anything. By the way, honors don't really doesn't play a huge role in community college. There's community college honors stuff. Doesn't really matter too much. Don't try to focus too much on that either. Okay. If a student starts before ninth grade, do you recommend area 3? Do you still? Yes. First few classes, max out 3 and 4 first, then do everything else. Right. My daughter plans to do abnormal psychology and research methodology in psychology at the end of the summer. Very nice. Awesome. Very cool. Do community college get added to your transcript? Does it count to your GPA for UCGF calculations? Again, wrong questions. Wrong questions. We don't need to know about GPA. But to answer your question, right? Do they get added to your transcript? Depends on your school. I don't care though, right? The reason why I don't care is when you guys apply to college, you'll be sharing your high school transcript and your college transcript. That's why I don't really care if your school counts it or not. I'm still gonna say do it because we're gonna send both in there. Number two, does it count? Yes, each class counts as 1 extra point for the UCGPA. Again, what does that mean? Ignore that. Doesn't mean much for the purpose of admissions, right? But just to answer the question, that's the answer there. How are these the classes for structure? Again, keep in mind, we're not doing a lot of these classes for majors, right? We're doing these to show the rigor in our schedule. To do the major, you can, but major you demonstrate through activities, not through academics. You can, the overlays are there, but you demonstrate your major through activities. That's the key. Keep that in mind. All right. My son goes to D-Tech, no AP and IB. How do colleges select? So colleges are regional based, so they'll be comparing your son against their high schools, number one. So if there's no APs, that they understand that. But even for you now, even more reason to take dual enrollment courses because now you have that extra added on that your school doesn't do that thing. So I would definitely recommend dual enrollment for you as well too. When you say 1 class per semester, that means taking a dual enrollment course doing regular on top of your class load. Yes, it means doing what you're doing and supplementing in the dual enrollment. Here's little spoilers, tricks for you guys. Let's say, for example, let's say you're taking 4 APs, right? 4 APs is 4 years of rigor. Instead of taking 4 years of rigor, what if you take 2 APs? One class in the fall for dual enrollment, one class in the spring for dual enrollment. On paper, it's 4 years still. But what you actually are doing, you're actually only doing like 3 years, if that makes sense, of like college of like rigor courses. So you're doing less work, but same amount of impact or more. That's kind of the trick here as well. Are not there many colleges that don't accept dual enrollment community college? So every school will count it as rigor. Not every school, I'm thinking private schools. Not all private schools will honor all the units, right? That being said, I'm still gonna do it because again, our goal is to increase the rigor. Show the colleges, hey, I'm rigorous. I can handle the workload. I'm a high school student taking college level courses. That's why. But again, I think there are some private schools that won't accept all the units, where I'll take like 10, 13 units, whatever, and the rest you have to redo again at the school, which is fine because I'm sure if you got into that school, you'd be happy too. Is it? Kids didn't take a push, take regular history. Is it good to take community college history over summer or after 11th grade? You could, right? You could. I'd ask you why you do it. So if you're doing a Kakush, Tony, I want to follow your area 4, then go for it, right? Is the thing because US history is the same, right? Is the same as US history is in area 4 if you're in California, by the way. So that class is in there. But if you do it to replace it, that doesn't really do much because again, you don't want to replace it. Like if your child doesn't like history, maybe not, right? But you can just take a college level course, you're good to go there. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you everyone for joining with all this as well too. So for those who, oh, one more question popped in the chat. Can you take a language at dual enrollment in community college? Level 2 is level 1 in the college. Yes, you can. A little spoilers for you guys, right? So language classes are typically 5 units long. Again, conversion, right? In the chat, pop quiz. How many credits is high school, college to high school? One college unit is equals to how many high school credits? Does anyone remember that one? Remember that one? 3, 5, close. There we go. 3.3, right? 3.3. So 5 units times 3.3, 17.5, I believe. 16.5. 16.5, right? 16.5. 16.5, 10 is a year. 6.5 is like a little more than half a year. So one semester at the college level language is equivalent to a year and a half of a language at the high school. Imagine you take 2, like Spanish 2 or something, right? You take Spanish 2, that's the second year, that's the second half, that's another year and a half, that's 3 years of language. So technically, you can take 2 semesters, 1 year at the college to get you 3 years at the high school. Boom. All right, so another one of the awesome hacks for you guys there. One more came in. So too, heard APs are more rigorous if the high school often better take them for the high schools. Otherwise, the admission officers wonder why you didn't take up your high school. Is that true? I would argue against you. I've been doing it 16 years now. I haven't seen a big thing. That being said, again, readers do see, oh yeah, you're taking a full year. So again, it's within context, right? Hey, this class is a year long. This class is a semester long. But I like to work smart. I'm figuring out the big picture, not just the academics. How many of your kids spend hours and hours doing homework? Because they spend hours and hours doing homework, they can't do anything else. For a reason why, if you look at our case studies, check out YouTube, egelloC, right? College, the word college backwards, right? Our students are heavily involved in activities. You can't do that if you spend all your time in school. So the only way to do that is you have to reduce the academic time to increase your activity time. That's the big magical lever you want to make sure you do. We'll talk about activities, by the way, later this week if you guys want to join us again. But the key is making sure the academics are still strong, but we purposely try to spend as little time as we can. It's more of a strategy play. Can you do all APs? You can go for it, right? But it's a lot of work. You want to give your child a lot of work? It's up to you guys, right? Parent choice right there. But again, for me, I like to work really, really smart through this whole process to give give your kids the best chance helping get into the schools they want to go to. Okay. That being said, that's pretty much it. If anyone's interested in the replay of this call, go ahead and text our team and put our number in the chat. 949-775-0865. Text our team. They'll send you the replay and the notes. I'll clean up a little bit, but yeah, they'll send you that. Feel free to text our team. Just say replay, and they'll actually, yeah, say replay. They'll text the replay. Text the replay. Text the word replay 949-775-0865. Or if I text you to get here, text me back from that number, and then a team will grab it for you as well. Okay, that's pretty much it for this session. Hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys, coaching students. I'll see you guys later this week for office hours. For everyone else, I'll see you guys next week. Chat soon, everyone.